Hey guys, Mrs. P here. Pinkylee's at school. Yeah, again, today. They do that. Today we are going to be cleaning up and restoring an old Marisol we found on eBay. I know you see a lot of these videos online, so we're going to fast forward through all of the boring parts. And we're just going to show you how we typically do it. I usually do it in my kitchen, so I have the towel laid down. I have my counter, the one butted up against the sink, because I like to have access to the sprayer when I wash their hair versus dunking their hair in a sink or using the bathroom where the counters aren't quite big enough to hold my doll steady. So we have our towel, we have a bowl of warm water, we have our magic eraser. I usually only use about half of one unless the doll is really bad. I also have our salon chair and cape for when we start doing her hair. And because her hair is really dry and matted, we also have our doll straightener, because they have their own specified one. We don't use ours on their hair. So first I start by pinning her hair up in any basic hair tie, lay her down on her towel, stick my eraser in the water, wring it out, and we'll get started. Okay, and we're done with the cleaning of her body. She cleaned up nice. This thing got a little torched, but otherwise pretty good. She does have one mark still on her arm and one on her leg, and now that I've gotten more of an exam of it, I don't know if you can quite see it there. It actually looks like it might be marker, so we will have to take other steps to get that one off. A little benzoyl peroxide treatment might be in order. So, but for now we are done, so let's move on to the hair. This is very much a rat's nest. Very dry, very fried. I don't know how well you can tell in the camera, but what I like to do here might be different than what most other people do. Most will do what they refer to as a downy dunk, or others will do what they refer to as a hot water dunk. I do neither of those. For every doll I've ever had to repair hair on, I wash it completely with a very gentle, all-natural shampoo and conditioner. The one I use is called Mop Top Gentle Shampoo. It's actually what we use here in the house, so also what we use on our dolls. And we will wash her hair with that. We will also leave conditioner in, and I know conditioner doesn't really do anything for their hair, but the conditioner actually, because conditioners usually come scented, it does help give their hair a nice scent. So we like to do it just to give a little scent to their hair, because sometimes they can come to us and seem kind of musty or like they were sitting in storage for a while, and that kind of smell is really hard to get out of a wig. And the conditioner, we've discovered, does a really good job of that, and actually keeps the smell out. So we are going to start by washing her hair in fairly hot water. And then make sure we don't get any water too close to the actual wig. We just wash it from about here down, so about an inch away from the scalp, and everything down. And then I usually attack it with my straightening iron. Now I know Marisol usually has a nice wave, large curl to her hair, but we do have a lot of success with our fat rollers that we put back in their hair to recurl their hair. So there is no concern about it not having a curl again. But when it needs to repair like this, it definitely has to be straightened, because the straightener we use also repairs. So let's get started, and again, we will fast forward through anything that is super, super boring. Side note, be sure to be extra careful when you're doing their face. You don't want to get water in their eyes. I know you've heard that like a million times, but you can never be too careful. Here we go. Okay, and we're done with the cleaning of her body. She cleaned up nice. This thing got a little torched, but otherwise pretty good. She does have one mark still on her arm and one on her leg, and now that I've gotten more of an exam of it, I don't know if you can quite see it there. It actually looks like it might be marker, so we will have to take other steps to get that one off. A little benzoyl peroxide treatment might be in order. So, but for now we are done, so let's move on to the hair. This is very much a rat's nest. Very dry, very fried. I don't know how well you can tell on the camera, but what I like to do here might be different than what most other people do. Most will do what they refer to as a downy dunk, or others will do what they refer to as a hot water dunk. I do neither of those. For every doll I've ever had to repair hair on, I wash it completely with a very gentle, all-natural shampoo and conditioner. The one I use is called Mop Top Gentle Shampoo. It's actually what we use here in the house, so also what we use on our dolls. And we will wash her hair with that. We will also leave conditioner in, and I know conditioner doesn't really do anything for their hair, but the conditioner actually, because conditioners usually come scented, it does help give their hair a nice scent. So we like to do it just to give a little scent to their hair, because sometimes they can come to us and seem kind of musty, or like they were sitting in storage for a while, and that kind of smell is really hard to get out of a wig, and the conditioner we've discovered does a really good job of that, and actually keeps the smell out. So we are going to start by washing her hair in fairly hot water, and then make sure we don't get any water too close to the actual wig. We just wash it from about here down, so about an inch away from the scalp, and everything down, and then I usually attack it with my straightening iron. Now I know Marisol usually has a nice wave, large curl to her hair, but we do have a lot of success with our fat rollers that we put back in their hair to recurl their hair, so there is no concern about it not having a curl again. But when it needs to repair like this, it definitely has to be straightened, because the straightener we use also repairs. So let's get started, and again, we will fast forward through anything that is super, super boring. Now, we don't want to dry it too much because we are going to have to spray it back down, because when you straighten their hair, it needs to be very, very wet. So let us switch over. I'll back you up a little bit here. Bring over our chair, our trusty cape. And this one is just our generation chair and cape. We don't really use it for anything else other than this, so we just didn't really see the big deal in buying the nice, fancy, expensive one from American Girl. So some things are worth spending the money on. The salon chair for us just was not. So let's put her cape on so we can keep the water off of her body. Sit her straight up into the chair. Hi, Marisol. All clean. Fasten her in. Keep the towel down here to catch the water so we don't start a flood on our counter. And first, we are going to comb her hair back out. So I know in my last video, I said I bought a brand new brush so I'd stop using my daughter's, but lo and behold, I'm using my daughter's today. That's okay. She's not here. She won't know. Alright, so I definitely like to comb it out in sections instead of all at once, and I will fast forward through this as well. And we happened again. I think I'm having issues with my camera. Alright, so anyway, what I was saying is you don't want to put too much tension on the wig if you can help it, so I try to always hold it up top. So next we are going to do a little repair work, and then hopefully not trim it. It doesn't look like we'll have to, so we will see. I'm going to go get my spray bottle and we'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, so straightener is heating up. You want it on your lowest setting, or 5 or less. I don't know if you can see that very well because this one's really old, but we turn ours on to about a 4 because this one's actually really old, so we don't get that hot anyway. And you want to do this in very small sections. So what I do is I try to find a separation in the wig cap, and I go all along her head here, and then I pin that section up out of the way. You want to do this in the small pieces as possible to avoid trying to get this, to avoid it, well, you know, really not working, because if you use too big of a section, you're not really giving your straightener a chance to focus on anything else. So, move her up a little bit here, comb it out again, and when I say small section, I mean you're going to want to take something about like this, so small. And I know it's still wet, but like I said, it needs to be really wet. So just grab a spray bottle, whatever it is you use for water. We use an old detangler bottle that's like 5 years old. Wet down the hair good. Run it once over with your brush to make sure there's no tangles. Okay. Start at the top, pull down. And pull down quickly. You do not want to, and go over it about 4 or 5 times actually, but never leave it on for too long. You want to pull it down the hair quickly. If you don't feel safe doing this one, just skip this step. Washing it actually does a lot of wonders, and you need to be careful and make sure, should have mentioned this first, have your parents' permission before you do so, if you are too young to do so. And then I just use her arm to hold the done pieces out of her hair, or out of her way. Just always know that you can risk damaging your doll's hair by doing this if you do not do it carefully and smartly. I have seen people completely fry their doll's hair doing this because they don't follow the methods. They don't make sure the hair is wet enough. They leave it on the hair too long. Because in essence what this is doing, because of the type of hair this is, it is a type of plastic. So what it does is it is in essence melting the plastic back together. That's what's breaking those split ends, is it's just melting the hair back into a solid piece rather than the tiny pieces that it turned into. However, if you do leave it on too long, much like a plastic, it will just melt a lot. And I have had many dolls come to me because I do restoration from people who needed their dolls fixed because somebody tried to curl their hair with a curling iron or attempted to do this method actually, and just it went horribly awry. So you always want to be as careful as possible. Alright, so you've seen the procedure. This one would actually be entirely too long to fast forward through because this can take up to 20-30 minutes sometimes depending on the amount of hair, and Marisol has a lot. So I will be back when it's all done. Okay, we've got the majority of her hair done. I'm going to show you now my last technique, what I do when I straighten it to get the curl back into it. Now, if it's a really curly haired doll, you are not going to be able to do this. You will have to just recurl it at a later time. But when it was just curled under or had a wave to it, you can do this. So I'm going to show you the last 2 sections I have to do. We get it wet as close to the root as possible by keeping your hand over the wig. Brush that little section out. Start at the base. Again, we're just straightening it by running it through 4 or 5 times, very fast. And then on this round, split it in half so the pieces are a little smaller, and twist your iron as you do it. And it gives you that soft wave. And then do the other one and just go in the opposite direction. We'll do it one more time on this last piece. And this will give Marisol her nice big waves back. I mean, when you're dealing with a fixer-upper, unless you're sending her to the doll hospital to get a new head, they're never going to look like they did the day they were pulled out of a box. But there's no reason that they can't still look similar or just look amazing. So we twist it again. And this one we twist the other direction. And it's just a matter of turning your hand. It's very similar to if you're using a flat iron to curl your own hair. And you get that nice little wave, and the end result is this. She has nice waves through her hair. You'll see a better result once it's dry, but that can take a couple of hours, and we'll revisit it. At this point, it's wet, and we'll come back when her hair is dry, and we'll have her in some clothes so this poor girl's not naked anymore. Now, if you wanted to just flip her hair under, you would pull the flat iron through and just tilt your hand just that little bit to fold the hair under at the ends. And this will actually dry this way and stay. All right, we will see you again in a few hours after she's dressed. Okay, we're just going to throw this one on here real quick. Towards the end of it, we are back. It's been a couple hours. She has clothes on, yay! And here is her hair. Fixed up, repaired, and it's got a nice soft wave to it. And when you get nice and close, you can see that all of her split ends are gone. It's very shiny. And it's much better shape than it was. All right, this is Mrs. P and Pinky Lee signing out. Bye, guys.